And we are live on YouTube. I think this is the first time we're going live on YouTube right now. Super exciting. Hi, welcome, whoever is joining us, plus my fabulous. We are live on YouTube. Hang on a second. There we go. Let me just turn off the YouTube side of things. Here we go. I think this is the first time we're going live on YouTube right now. Okay, I've just got to mute myself. Okay, we're good. We're back. Okay, so this meeting is, this is actually inside of Zoom being broadcast live through YouTube. So hopefully we have a lot of our fantastic folks who join us on our YouTube videos jumping in. But today I'm with my fellow co-organizers, Dr. Dominic and Dr. Angela Poff. Hi guys, so good to see you.
Hello.
Yeah, excited to be jumping into this platform today because we got a lot to talk about. We have actually three different things to talk about. The conference, that we've got some really exciting updates on that front to talk about in terms of speakers, in terms of just the overarching event itself and all kinds of plans. But we also have just launched all of these wonderful resources through our new medical education platform called the Metabolic Initiative. We've got an amazing live Q&A coming up that we'll talk about with Dr. Christopher Palmer. If you know Dr. Christopher Palmer, he's really a leading voice in the field of metabolic psychiatry. So we'll talk a lot about that here at the end. So stay tuned for that. It's completely free to join and we'll give you details on how to join that. And then we also have just launched a completely complimentary ebook dedicated entirely to ketogenic metabolic therapy, a year in review. The previous year, hundreds of hours have been dedicated to this in terms of writing and just work on just taking all of these key highlights within our field from different publications and putting them into essentially like what I like to call, which is a terrible word, but Cliff Notes version of, instead of having to go read all these different papers in full length, you've got like the summarized version there for you that's hyperlinked. So we'll talk about that too. But first, why don't we jump into Metabolic Health Summit? Well, first, how are you guys? How about we start there? How are you doing? Angela, you go first.
Good. Good. Excited about everything we have going on. Hard to believe it's September, which is wild to think about. But just staying busy, lab stuff. Obviously, the conference is keeping us on our toes, getting ready for that in just a few short months. I saw earlier today, it's like 140 days away or something, which doesn't actually sound that far. So just getting excited for all of those things.
Yeah, lots coming out. Dom, how about you? How are things going on your front? Oh, I think you're muted. There we go.
I'm back. Yeah, sorry. Okay. Yeah, great. Things are really full steam with teaching, with research stuff in the lab, grant proposals. I'm reviewing for the federal government a lot of ketogenic proposals, like big grants that I'm part of a review committee, and that's been taking up a lot of my bandwidth. It's very exciting to see this level of federal research being proposed. So that's been taking up a lot of my time. And it's also very exciting and also very stimulating to see new applications for nutritional ketosis and supplemental ketosis.
Yeah, absolutely.
A theme of our conference too. So.
Totally. It's really exciting. And I know both of you guys are not bored on the science front, that's for sure. I mean, the whole field is really just, it's an exciting time for the field. I feel like it's just continuing to explode. I mean, I remember when it all started 6-7 years ago in terms of the conference, starting and to where it is now. It's just wild to think that. I just really feel like metabolic based therapies are a big part of the future of medicine. And it's exciting to be with so many of you who are watching along this wild ride that we're trying to push along at the same time. So let's dive into Metabolic Health Summit, because we've just actually silently announced some speakers on our website. If you've been tracking our speaker page on the website, we slowly pop up new speakers, but we want to share some of those speakers with you because we're really excited about a few of them. Dom, do you want to lead us off with our official keynote speaker for the conference this year?
Yes, we are bringing him back, so to speak, because in 2000, 2017, I believe. He was a keynote speaker. It was one of our first conferences. Dr. Walter Longo, PhD. He's professor in gerontology and biological sciences, also the director of the USC Longevity Institute. And I mean, his research is fundamental in regards to longevity as it relates to genomic, epigenetic, down to the yeast, to mice, to human clinical trials with fasting mimicking diets, which many people listening are probably familiar with. So I am super excited to see what, 6-7 years of time has gone by since he was a keynote, and he's been a big inspiration for us. His work is very pioneering, and I'm just excited to be on stage again and be able to talk with him.
Yeah. I feel like Dr. Longo his work in fasting has been a huge part of that movement of bringing this into the public conversation. He does a really good job at doing science, like you mentioned, from molecular all the way up to humans. And he's just a really nice person too. So it's always cool to see what he's doing. And I can't wait to hear an update this year. It'll be awesome.
It was fun to interview him for podcasts, and and he has a very interesting perspective on as it relates to calorie restriction, protein restriction, and different aspects of molecular signaling. And we highlighted him before he was like a Netflix star. And so, I mean, he is just like all over the board now, and continuing to not only be in the education outreach genre, I guess, but he is like a research scientist that is really translating his science into human application, which is kind of like the theme of our event, which is why I'm super excited that he's a keynote.
Yeah, I feel like he's the perfect person to, I mean, like you said, Dom, Netflix stars. It's wild to see from when we first had him at the conference to the work he's been doing in the public sphere. I think is just so important. And like you said, Angela is really pushing the field forward in a big way, especially on the fasting front, longevity front. And so if you want to watch, actually, Dom did an excellent interview with Dr. Walter Longo on our podcast, as he mentioned. Right here on YouTube, you can watch the full episode. Just, look through our videos or look at the Metabolic Link playlist, and you can find that. It's a really great interview. But we also have some other great speakers. Dom, I think you had another one you wanted to mention.
Yeah, I'm super excited to have Kyle Gillette. I think that's pronounced right, like the razor. Kyle is a double board certified, I believe, in family medicine and obesity medicine. And he provides a very personalized service to his patients and optimizing their metabolism. He specializes pretty deeply in hormone optimization, and that could be through a variety of different means. And he really practices obesity medicine to the point where he guides patients in a way that food is medicine. And although he's been on podcasts like Huberman and Rich Roll and Gabrielle Lyon, and those podcasts really, he covers hormone optimization, but he really leverages, probably more than anything else, he leverages diet, sleep, stress, sunlight, exercise is kind of what he's known for. That's like the 6 pillars of his health. And I believe that he'll be speaking on those aspects. And I'm really excited to interview him for a podcast coming up soon and to see him speak. And I think he adds like a new dimension to Metabolic Health Summit and kind of expanding it to, through nutrition, which he practices in his practice and advocates for, but also the impact of metabolism and stress and other variables on hormones that impact, overall metabolism. And that's kind of, a pretty hot topic now. And I'm excited to see what he's going to share with us.
Yeah, I think it'll be really great. He's very well-rounded in terms of like those key pillars that you were talking about and areas that he focuses on, just in terms of people who are interested in just overall, improving their metabolic health. I think that'll be a great talk to follow. Angela, I know we've got a couple of others amongst actually quite a few new speakers. We're only mentioning a few. So if you want to see the full list, go to metabolichealthsummit.com and click on speakers. But you have a couple that you wanted to mention of interest.
Yeah, absolutely. So 2 other speakers that are going to be coming, we're really excited about. First is Dr. Tomas Duroc. He is actually a postdoc in Dr. Thomas Seaford's lab at Boston College. And I was excited to hear that he accepted our invitation to speak. He's an MD PhD. His research focuses mainly on studying the potential of bioenergetic modulation and cancer metabolism. So specifically emphasizing his research in glioblastoma, brain cancer. In his clinical practice, though, he also specializes in health optimization through nutritional and lifestyle interventions for diseases that have a metabolism as some level of a root cause. So including things like cancer, insulin resistance, diabetes, obesity, metabolic syndrome, cardiovascular disease, epilepsy, longevity. He kind of has an interest in all of it, it sounds like. He says that his goal is to advance our understanding of metabolic therapy with rigorous evidence-based medicine so that we can make it part of the standard oncology toolkit and all patients can benefit. So I love that mindset of, really diving in and putting in the hard work to understand, getting the evidence behind these kind of therapies to really make it part of, standard of care where it's appropriate to do so. And when I was communicating with him after he accepted our invitation, he was really excited, and I was glad to hear that. And he said that he has some really cool new data elucidating kind of the role of glycolysis versus OXPHOS in cancer cells, and he can't wait to share it. So it sounds like he's got some new insights that they'll be sharing. And I know that's a really hot topic, and anyone interested in metabolism and cancer, I'm sure would be interested to hear what he has to share. So that was pretty cool. We also have Dr. Ezekiel Dantas. He is a postdoc in Dr. Marcus Goncalves' lab at Cornell. He is also an MD PhD. And he has expertise in immunology. He studies the effects of the dietary interventions on the immune system. So he focuses on cancer, which is one condition where we know that diet can really influence immunity. And in that setting, he studies the crosstalk between tumor cells, the immune system, and then other regulators of systemic metabolism and how they interact in a way that leads to cachexia, which is the wasting that occurs in terminal cancer, loss of, in particular, muscle mass that is concerning. And he's also interested in finding and validating early biomarkers for cachexia and for lung cancer. So two really outstanding cancer research and clinicians, which I love having presenters who can speak to both sides of the coin. I think that the cancer session is really shaping up to be a super cool symposium this year. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've got, for those who are watching who aren't familiar with how Metabolic Health Summit is sort of like split up, we've got a variety of different symposiums each day. Everything kicks off Thursday night with our amazing keynote speaker, and a really fun reception, I might add. And then we go into full days where you've got, symposiums dedicated to exclusively to neurological disorders, to cancer, to metabolic disorders, to, human optimization, just overall, improving your metabolic health, a wide variety of different areas, especially implementation. We're doing some really cool stuff on implementation this year. We also like to include patient perspectives. So we probably mentioned on our last live that we've got a couple of speakers, Dr. Ian Campbell, Matt Bazuki. Ian Campbell, he actually happens to be a researcher and a patient dealing with bipolar. And Matt also has suffered from bipolar for about 5 years before using ketogenic metabolic therapy, and has said he's now in remission, which is unheard of with that kind of psychiatric disorder. So really a unique set of speakers from, in the clinic to in the lab to, a patient perspective, because I think, as you guys, I know, agree, every aspect of that spectrum is so key in moving this field forward, and truly providing robust education, especially on the medical professional front, right? So I think all of those perspectives are crucial for furthering the field. So thank you guys for listing off some of those speakers. I want to mention that I don't even know how it's September at this point, but we have like less than 3 weeks to go with early bird pricing. And then it's gone for good, for real. This time it's gone for good. We completely gone October 1st. So it's through October 1st, early bird pricing. I think you can save something like on our general admission or general registration tickets, you can save up to with some really great discounts through our newsletter. If you sign up for our newsletter, you get like a 10% off code. And then also early bird pricing, you're saving like $100. So I would definitely make sure if you're thinking about attending in Clearwater Beach, Florida in January, which by the way is amazing, an amazing destination location in January. Both of you guys can vouch for that. And I too, I mean, white sandy beaches kind of sounds crappy, but it's amazing. I promise. I'm kidding. It's
we'll survive. We'll make
we'll
it.
survive. I know.
We can do it.
Exactly. But it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have, we have wellness classes in the morning, you know, in terms of yoga, breathwork sessions, and then just like action-packed days full of science, science to really society. So from, you know, in the clinic to in the lab to in the you know, patient world too, like, as I mentioned. So make sure you go to metabolichealthsummit.com to get those tickets. We also have a great gala dinner that supports two incredible nonprofit organizations, the Charlie Foundation, Max Love Project. It's also an amazing, just fun time. We usually have just some spectacular fun entertainment, amazing food. We really curate the menus down to every morsel, believe it or not, because we actually have a lot of patients and people who are using ketogenic metabolic therapy to manage things like epilepsy. So we're very, very conscious of that and come up with great culinary creations with the chef of our venue, which is so much fun. And then our VIP mixer, which is all of our speakers will be there along with business leaders, our sponsors. It's really an intimate setting to be able to connect with some really key leaders in our field. So those are two separate tickets to the conference. And then, of course, we have our expo, which the conference wouldn't be possible without our amazing partners, right? So we've got some incredible partners this year. Incredible platinum partners in particular that I just want to say thank you to. You know, Keto Mojo has been a longtime supporter of the conference. Same with Dry Farm Wines, who is exclusively served throughout all the fun networking events at the event. Audacious Nutrition, incredible ketone products, to Genova Diagnostics and Timeline. So these two companies are actually going to be hosting some special interest forums at this conference. You will not want to miss that. We'll have more details on what topics you can dive into in our special interest forums with them. We also have Good Idea. And then, of course, the continued support of Keto Nutrition and Ketone Technologies as well. Keto Nutrition being Dom's amazing blog and just what you're doing in the field for education. It's just been really awesome to watch over the years and exciting just to be, you know, furthering this field together. So special thank you to our partners on making it happen. And so,
Victoria, the poster session too. Yeah, sorry.
Yes.
No, it just occurred to me the poster session too will be, and some awards for that. And also, before I forget, I do get quite a bit of emails from students that are in the US and students abroad, and they were asking about student discounts. So maybe, you could just mention a little something about if there's a student discount.
Absolutely. No, you make great points. So the International Scientific Poster Session, how could I forget to mention that, is like one of my favorite parts of the entire conference. It's held Friday night, and we basically have, you know, researchers from around the world that are presenting, you know, a variety of abstracts, and they're there to meet and connect with you over their research, which is really incredible and a very unique opportunity that you don't get at a lot of conferences. And Keto Nutrition, Ketone Technologies are providing some really amazing travel awards alongside, you gotta love real TV. It's reality TV.
Sorry, must sit in. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. I love it. This is real life, you know? So if you want to find out more information on maybe how to submit an abstract, because we are accepting abstracts through November 1st, I believe, is the deadline. So you want to make sure you get that in. Go to metabolichealthsummit.com and click on abstracts, and you'll have all the information for how to submit an abstract, but then also how to apply for those amazing awards. We're giving away, like, I think combined something like $2,000 worth of prizes between all of the travel awards and then free tickets for, so just a really great incentive for junior scientists. Of course, anybody who gets accepted into the scientific poster session does get a discount on registration. But separate to that, any students who are, in university or what have you, in any capacity really, can email us at contact@metabolichealthsummit.com. If you're a student, let us know, send over your student ID, and we will happily provide you with a discount on registration. So that's something, that's definitely something to take advantage of. And I'm glad you mentioned that, Dom. I forgot to.
I get a lot of emails from students. I'm excited that, students of our future, and it'd be great to see them present research too. And I mentor several medical students and hope to get them, plan for them to present some of the cool research we've been doing.
Yeah, that would be great. I mean, it's such a unique experience, the poster session, and just to be able to mix and mingle for a couple of hours with incredible researchers really from all over the world, and to see unpublished just research is, I think it's just inspiring is the best way to put it, in my opinion. So yeah, that was a great point, Tom. So that's a lot of different updates about Metabolic Health Summit. If you want the most cutting edge information and like up-to-date information, go to our website, metabolichealthsummit.com. You can also follow us, of course, on all the platforms, not just here on YouTube. And we'll, we put out continuous educational content and information about the conference there too. You can also earn CMEs. We didn't really mention that, but continuing medical education is offered every year at Metabolic Health Summit for our medical professionals. And we do get a lot of questions. I might just mention this here. CMEs aren't just for physicians. A lot of like RNs, physical therapists and whatnot can typically apply that to their license, and you just have to notify or contact your state board and you can get those applied. So that's something worth noting, that CMEs are really great standard across the board for that. But why don't we talk about some of the amazing resources from the Metabolic Initiative side, which we have and just released. Actually, today we launched this great, honestly, free to download. So we have a 2-week free trial that's set up right now for the Metabolic Initiative that will not last long. It's going to go away. It's not going to be a forever thing. So I would highly suggest getting into the Metabolic Initiative platform if you want to test it out now, because not only will you get to be able to download this new free ebook, that's an amazing resource, but also join our live Q&A with Dr. Christopher Palmer on Tuesday, September 12th, which I want to get into. But Angela, you want to talk a little bit about the ebook and
Sure.
what we're trying to accomplish with this beast of document.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is something that we have put out for the past 3 years. And it's something that we really work hard to put together. And it's a great resource for kind of like an overview and recap of the research that came out in the year prior related to ketogenic metabolic therapy. And so the way that the ebook is organized is essentially there's 5 sections to the ebook, different categories of conditions. So neurology, cancer, metabolic disorders, human optimization, and then clinical insights. And essentially what we've done is we've scoured the literature, and there were thousands of publications that were published in 2022 related to these topics. But what we did was we selected, I think there's over 120 articles that have been basically synthesized and summarized the key findings of these papers in the different categories. And so you go in, you open it up, and you'll see just lists of these different articles and the key findings. So I know how long it can take if you really want to keep up with what's happening in the literature. It can be really hard. If you don't have a ton of time to keep, looking back or looking through PubMed and searching through things. So this was kind of like the incentive for us to put together a resource. And so it's an overview that tries to cover a wide variety of what has happened in the field in the year prior. And so it's not, comprehensive. Like I said, there were thousands of publications, but we tried to include, especially if a topic was something that there was multiple papers published on a certain topic, we wanted to make sure that at least one was highlighted there. And then we also include lists of links to review articles. So review articles that came out on these various topics in the year prior as well. So a lot of, really key highlight just data from these papers that came out, linked to all the primary, citations, and then lists of review articles as well. So it's really, really awesome opportunity to get a very high level overview of what happened in our field in the prior year. And one thing I think is really cool is if you're a healthcare provider, or maybe if you're a patient speaking to a healthcare provider who is interested in learning more, it's a really awesome tool that you can take to them and say like, hey, here's just like an example of some of the research that's come out in this field. Because sometimes people just aren't aware that all this research is out there, and to have it in such a like concise, synthesized, place, I think is really, really valuable. So if you want to keep up with the research or find out what happened, in the past year, or you want to provide that resource to someone, it's a great tool. And as Victoria mentioned, it is part of the benefits available to the Metabolic Initiative members. But we do have a free 2-week trial going on right now. So if you're interested in checking it out, you could sign up for a free trial and check it out in that time frame. So anyone could access it today if you want to see it.
Yeah, it's a really great benefit that's completely free at the moment. So take advantage of that for sure.
Yeah.
And then we have coming up inside the platform as well. So the Metabolic Initiative really is, just to kind of give a brief description, it's a medical education platform that's open to the public, but designed for the medical professional. So we have, our premium plan, and then we also have a professional plan. The difference between the two, the only difference is really one offers CMEs. So if you need continuing medical education, it's a great option. And we have the most robust library of all of our conference presentations, to exclusive interviews with world experts, to presentations that have been recorded throughout the course of the year, to the ebook, and actually private podcast episodes as well, in addition to our public episodes too. So it's just a really great place to go to learn the cutting edge, research on metabolic health and therapy, all in one place. It's really the first of its kind in terms of a comprehensive space around this field. So we're really excited about it. And one of the things that we also offer are monthly live Q&As with leading physicians, researchers, you name it, to give our members an opportunity to engage one-on-one with people and ask questions that maybe they watch their presentation video inside the platform and they want, they've got all these unanswered questions. Well, this is the opportunity to take advantage of. And so on Tuesday, September 12th at 1 p.m. PT, 4 p.m. ET, we have Dr. Christopher Palmer, who is a leading voice in the field of metabolic psychiatry, who will be sitting down with us for an hour to really answer any questions that you have around mental health, psychiatric disorders, and using ketogenic metabolic therapy as a potential option. And Dr. Palmer has had incredible success in using such therapy in his practice, and it's really exciting to hear what he has to say. And maybe Dom, you could share a little bit more. I know we've both read his amazing book, Brain Energy. We'd love to hear your perspective on his work. But I feel like he's revolutionizing the field of mental health. That's where he's going with that. Yeah,
I got a couple of copies of his book, including a signed one. Yep. So Dr. Palmer was a speaker at our past event, and he'll be a speaker again. And I'm excited to interview him for a Q&A. He's been on so many great podcasts, really getting this information out, the importance of metabolic psychiatry, the importance of mitochondrial function, for brain health, for neurotransmitter production. Like, mental health is metabolic health, and it's kind of like the underlying, message. And I'm excited to really pick his brain on a few topics. I'm rereading his book and also listening to a number of podcasts. He was on Tim Ferriss. That was great. Andrew Huberman, all these podcasts. And I'll be asking him things that he probably didn't address in all the other podcasts, and some provocative questions, as it pertains to this idea of brain energy and some things that he's doing now and maybe his future vision for where this is going.
Yeah, it's going to be an amazing conversation. I'm really excited to dig in. And I just think he's, if you read his book, his book really kind of just puts everything together in a way that you're kind of like, wait, this makes so much sense. Like, why we're just kind of talking about this now. And it's just a beautifully written, wonderful, publication that I would highly recommend digging into if you have any interest in mental health, which I feel like is everybody, right? Because it affects everybody. So highly recommend it. And if you want to sign up for that live Q&A, like we had mentioned, it's completely free to join because it's in the two week window. And you can also take advantage of the ebook and all the other content in the platform. If you go to metabolicinitiative.com, I'll also post maybe below this some of the links, but metabolicinitiative.com, and then you click on membership, you'll be able to find access to these. You can also, there's also some pages that I'll post specific to the ebook and Chris Palmer, so you can sign up for those, but it's really simple once you get in the platform. There's a watch, listen, and read button. And of course, you'll be able to find all those links through there. But so many exciting things in the works, and just, excited to continue to push things forward with you guys. And crazy that we're already in September and the conference is going to be here in end of January. So
yep.
I'm excited for what's to come.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for watching this. Make sure, if you've not done so yet, head on over to our website, metabolichealthsummit.com or metabolicinitiative.com. Metabolic everything over here. And until next time, we'll see you guys soon. Thanks.